California is one of my bigger bases of people who see me and think I'm saying something. Some people even love me out there. And when I come out there, I'm well received. But it was amazing to find out that at one end of California, you had fires raging like mad, and there are now 3,000 different fires going on in California, having gone through 17,250 lightning strikes over the last 2 months. And at the other end, you got a fire raging, and at the other end, you got a flood going. Rain, torrential rains everywhere in one state. That's a huge state. I admit, you're going from Oregon down to Baja Bay, you've got a lot of California. But whoever heard of such extremes? If they could take one and put it with the other and balance the elements, they would have neither. Not too much drought, not too much fire, not too much flood. But the extremes, and this is what happens to a planet when extremists take over. The very elements, fire, water, air, and earth that supports it all, are now out of sync. Something is wrong. Something is not balanced here. I say, many people pray to God to save them from all of these droughts and things like this. I said, well, why do you pray to God to stop something that God started? They said, well, God started it, but God in his beneficence, his omnisciency, must know what he or she is doing. So consequently, if that is the case, then why are these extremes going? I say, I believe in the Creator. I think God's are what I hope to be one day, and some of them out of hand lost it, gone crazy. Because many of these scientists out here, well learned, well educated in evilness, are acting like gods. And you're calling on the Creator to stop what you helped create, these gods that are false, who are misusing knowledge and using people in misusage ways. What's happening here is that simply, there's something called ISACAP, which is European Scattered Radar Scalar Installations, and ELATA, which is Electrified Aerial Discharge in Minsk, Russia, and HARP in Gakona, Alaska, which used to belong to the United States. Notice the past tense. Yeah. At places like this, and now at CERN, Switzerland, 3 weeks ago, and Brookhaven over 2 years ago, you have particle accelerators all working together to create matter and alter the form of matter and are creating weather. Weather is no longer being modified, it's being created and modified by men, not gods. Not the Lord, not Jesus, not Jesus, not Buddha, not Siddhartha, not Tyre. Men, evil men. Men with dispassionate feelings, non-spiritual men who do whatever they think they can, and they finance them to do just that, whatever they think they can. And like all things that have a two-edge to it, extremes to it, could be used for good. Could very well be used to good. Bringing water to drought areas. Bringing drought to overflooded areas. Sniffing out fires by taking away the oxygen rather than wasting water on it, because the fire cannot burn without oxygen unless it's an electrical fire. And everything that could be done like that, because the energy and the knowledge is out there, the wisdom to do so is abhorrently absent, because they're non-spiritual and non-souls. On this planet, you have egg-borns with no souls and womb-borns with souls, and we still haven't made that distinction. Let me repeat that. You have egg-borns with no souls and womb-borns with souls. And we still think that man, human, and mankind are the same. Not so. On this planet, you have over 15 races of something living, and you're aware of only 5 and can't get along with any of them. 15 races on this planet alone. You have terrestrials, that's one of the old names for Earth, Terra, terra firma, Shan, Solar, Saros, many names Earth has had. You have terrestrials, extraterrestrials, and intraterrestrials. You've been taught of 2. The terrestrial is any born that lives on the surface of this planet. It's a terrestrial, terrestrialis, terrace. The extraterrestrial is one who has lived on a planet similar to this. Bifurcation, bipedal, truncation, which means head, limbs, a foot, and limbs, and that's about all, because some of them can come 40 feet, and some of them may come 1 foot. But they have that in common. They're extraterrestrial. They have something piece in common with the way we look. And then you have intraterrestrial. The movie that will be released in another 7 days, Journey to the Center of Earth, will begin to bring out finally what they should have been saying a long time ago. Not just a molten lava thing, but civilizations living inside the earth that you don't read about. Have been, always will be, as long as there is a terrestrial, because planets under a sun are all hollow. Huh? Planets under a sun are all hollow. There's no such thing as a solid planet if you have a sun. Remember the old saying, nothing new under a sun? Well, there isn't. Under a sun, there's only so far you can ascend. And then we learn, dislearn, relearn, unlearn, and then learn some more. And we never cease to get over with that. Well, this time it will be over with on this one. But this one is going for an extension. Let me make another statement before I go even another further. This planet is going from the 3rd dimension to the 5th dimension, something unheard of under a sun system. A little bit I can understand, a little bit of knowledge I have from people who have much more wisdom than I. And to do so means we've got to cross the dimension to get there, and it's already in progress. It's already in progress. Let me explain what I mean by that. People are seeing shadow people, glimpses of things out of the corner of their eye, people they thought maybe were dead in the streets, visitors at night that they wake up and see in their rooms. You'd be surprised when people collectively talk and don't want you to think that they're insane, crazy, or want to be separated from what they'll tell you in consults of what they see and what they feel. We're in what is called the sickening before the quickening. The quickening is happening. And the movie that's happening is going to move through here faster than the serpent people came through major cities. The happening will show you the rebellion of a planet and green things. They talk about the green power now.
That's right.
What begins to happen now when a planet gets tired of a species, it's destroying itself. You're living in a planet. It's just like you got a tenant in a building that you own. You're destroying the plumbing, the electricity, burning the lights all day long, cursing, screaming, making every neighbor go crazy, beating up the dogs and the animals and everything else, and then not paying the rent. It's not a matter of how, but when will that person be evicted. The eviction is being served on all 15 races on this planet. And some of them feel it ain't my fault. They say it's not your fault, but you're on the planet. You should have done something about it. You go in too. Justice for all is opportunity for all, but sometimes we want mercy, not justice. We'd all better ask in here for some mercy. If we get justice, we're out here. It's just that simple. Because you've been shown clemency before, recidivism continues to go on. Someplace it's got to stop. It's stopping now. On the 4th dimension is where people that are called Dracons live. Dracons have many things. They can be cute, like Gecko. They can dance, do the slide, and do every kind of other thing you can think of on the screens with beautiful women, black and white. They can be everywhere you see, but there's nothing nice about most of them. The people from Haiti, Dogons, many used to tell you about Damballa, the good serpent. There are a few Damballas, but in general the serpents are not good people, not good creatures to know when they're trying to control your planet. Everywhere you see, starting from the old mutant Ninja Turtles, all the way up to the beautiful little cute geckos now, are telling you about a creature and a species different from you that seems to have a lot of power. Serpents have been referred to in many of the books that are holy and many of the books that are not so holy. I state to you that is your arch enemy. And their offspring are not your friends. And their offspring are in many key places on high positions in every sector and political extreme on this planet. That's the way it was planned, and that's what they still do. That's why they can control your politics, your means of production, distribution, and control. They are everywhere controlling you. They have done so for a long time. They've gotten used to it, and they can't even think about not being able to control you, because you might be going to wake up or awaken, a better term for it. There is a disease coming amongst now these scaled individuals. It's called ficus. And it's interesting that this astronomer's name was Ficus. And I saw that and I said, isn't that interesting, when I made the two comparisons. It attacks creatures that hibernate, have crust or shells, and are generally called amphibians. It's starting with the little ones and goes on. If you've ever had turtles when you were young or not so young, if your children have them, so you know, you get too much heat with sunshine, too much cold, and a turtle will go into immediate hibernation and die because it hasn't stored up enough food to last. That is one of the curses and blessings of being an amphibian in many cases. Cannot take direct sunlight, does not like magnetism, does not like direct heat, and abrupt changes in temperature. All of these things are happening on this planet. You say, why the weather? What's happening? Many species are now being destroyed on this planet. One species, man, is destroying himself. When you begin to understand things that we call food, I wonder how many of you eat food. Now, in my naivety, I understand that food is supposed to be something that has life source and force within it. You eat it for sustenance and energy to maintain equilibrium, so that your lungs and your circulation and your brain and your central nervous system can function. That's an overview of what I understand, limited as I am. And if that's the case, we should all be dead because most of us are not eating food. And you go again to parameters for food. Something that gives you life, force, sustenance, and maintains your organs and glands. Like 3 for $1 hamburgers, with cheese, white bread, a whole lot of sodium, a whole lot of nitrates, Coca-Cola with phosphates to leach out calcium, magnesium, phosphorus from your cells. Coffee, we won't even talk about that, especially the blacker it gets, the sweeter it tastes, but not to you. Leach out the rest of the stuff you had. Then we put it with cow's cream, which has already been infused with all kind of disease-inducing things, and formaldehyde and mercury and other poisons. Then we go drink water. And I think it was a person by the name of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I understand he's a governor of some state out there. We talked about that other area, state out there. Anybody know him? Used to be a weightlifter. A weightlifter. Used to be a person who understood better that you better not drink tap water. You better get good, close-up water, because when you exercise, the poisons are thrown up through the sweat glands, and you want to get rid of those toxins and poisons. And then he said, I think to some people, that you ought to drink tap water. And another august person, I think he's called the president of the what's that? 13th patent. Somebody help me. This person, he's the president of a big country here.
United Snakes.
Huh?
United Snakes.
Oh yeah, yeah. I knew somebody would help me. Made a statement also. You should be drinking tap water. Well, I guess that's good, and especially let's go with the governor who said it over in California, who get their water from the Colorado River, which is very interesting. And the Colorado River is a very interesting place. It's in a state called Colorado. See how smart I am? And in this place called Colorado, there's a big mound there. It was 7.5 miles from the Colorado River. And way back, after they had what was called the Manhattan Project, that was called something that was in Chicago. I'm from Chicago, but Chicago's a big place, so I don't know that I understand. But understanding a little bit that I do, there was a place there in Stagg Field, University of Chicago, where they tested the Manhattan Project, which later on led to Yokohama and Nagasaki being destroyed. What was that thing called? We know what was that thing they created there? Anybody help me with that? Atom bomb.